In 2018, Andy Bright from Bearwood celebrated his wedding anniversary with his wife, thinking it was going to be their last. But a double lung transplant saved his life. Now he's getting ready to compete in the British Transplant Games, which start in the West Midlands today. More than 2,500 people are getting involved in the 45th annual event of this. It's going to be amazing. They've all had a life-saving transplant. So we've got Andy on the phone with us now. Morning, Andy.
Good morning, Rakeem.
So you must be really excited to be taking part in the Transplant Games, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
And this is the second time that you're doing this?
Yeah, it's the second time. I competed in 2019 at the Newport Games, and that was 10 months after my transplant. Then I did darts, badminton, and table tennis. This year, the legs have gone a bit, so I'm just doing the darts, the snooker, and some crown green bowls, which I hadn't done for about 40 years.
So someone could be listening right now and has thought, hold on, the British Transplant Games, I've never heard of this before. How would you describe it to someone?
Well, it's quite simply, it's the Olympics for transplant patients. I mean, I enjoyed a lot of sports. My dad played for the Villa. Unfortunately, I didn't inherit his football skills, but I was quite decent with a racket. And I played badminton and squash right up until I was in my 40s. And then I became ill with a terminal and incurable disease called pulmonary fibrosis.
So when you did get diagnosed with that, how much of your life changed in that moment?
Everything. I mean, as I say, I was an active 40-year-old, wife, young children, grandchildren, with a decent career. And that all changed. I mean, I lost my voice for 3 years. And in 2010, I spent 6 months having speech therapy to teach myself to speak again. So, yeah, my life turned upside down.
And what is pulmonary fibrosis?
Pulmonary fibrosis, as I say, it's incurable. There is no known cure. And it's terminal. Basically, it scars the lungs, and over a period of time, it starves your body of oxygen and all the internal organs. The average life expectancy from diagnosis is 3 to 5 years, but there's a lot of work being done now in research, support and education. And I now work for the charity Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis, and we're all about raising awareness of the disease because not a lot of many people know it.
And when you were told about it, your life changed forever, as you said. And then in 2018, you had to start saying goodbye to friends and family.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you go for your tests and you can see the decline over a period of time. You can see it on the graph that your life oxygen is slowly ebbing away. And in 2018, it was mine were right through the floor. I planned my own funeral. I was saying goodbye to my family. I was talking to my best mate and my son about who was going to give my daughter away when she got married. And as you said earlier on, Jill and I went out for our wedding anniversary, and I said this will be our last one.
How do you say goodbye to someone? I mean, it's easy for us to talk about now, but how do you actually do that? I couldn't imagine how heartbreaking that must be.
It is. We went to the restaurant, and the waitress brought the menus over, and whilst we were looking at the menu, Jill and I were talking, and we both started crying, and the waitress came back and said, I'll give you another couple of minutes, shall I?
Yeah, I can imagine walking into something like that. What do you do? What do you say? You just have to go away, come back. You never know what you're disturbing. But, days later, 12 days later, after you found out that you then got a donor. So what was that like?
Well, I carried a phone with me. I had 3 phones. I worked for adult social care at the time. So I had my personal phone, my work phone, and I had what I called my Phoenix phone. And the only people who had that number were the transplant team at the QE. And I was in bed about 1 o'clock in the morning. I was still awake. But then the phone went, and it was the Phoenix phone. And so I knew exactly who it was and what the call was about. And the voice on the other end of the phone said, "Is that Andy?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And she said, "We may have some lungs for you. Are you still interested?" and I says, when did you want? When do you want me there? He said, "Well, when can you be here?" And I was there within the hour, because it was to say we only live in Bearwood. QE's just down the road, which is very fortunate.
So this is days after you're thinking, I'm saying goodbye to every person I know and love in this world, and now an opportunity for your life to be saved. Where was your head in all of this?
It's hard to look back and think, it doesn't seem rational, it doesn't seem real, and it is a tough one to sort of reconcile in my head. But I am very, very fortunate. The year I had my transplant done, I think there were 450